If you want to be more efficient and effective while running your business with more inner peace than working on the core of your issues instead of putting on a band-aid is vital. Welcome to the Business Brain Podcast.
I'm your host, Esty Rapport, and here to help you improve your 28 cognitive functions, the 28 things that make up thinking. In each episode, we'll discuss a real-life challenge, why you might be struggling with it, and give you practical strategies so all areas of your life will improve.
In a private Optimize Your Brain cohort where I was doing our signature program for the C-suite executives of one company, there was a new hiree, Vicky, the CTO, who really struggled with seeing other people's perspective. She'd come and wanting to change up working systems, struggle to understand why a different way may just be as good or better as the way she was used to, and it was really causing quite a bit of drama among her peers. Now, Vicky had an amazing personality, lots of experience, and so it was fun to work with her. It took time, but by the end of the 90 days, everyone on the team could see a difference, and Vicky felt that she found her place. If you're experiencing something similar, I'm here to tell you, you do not have to struggle forever. In this episode 462 of the Business Brain Podcast, I want to share with you the exact steps of what you can do to have your own transformation. But first, which one of your thinking skills is the strongest? Which ones need some help? Find out by taking the Thinking Skills Assessment at lifepeaceuniversity.com/CF. While you are doing any task, you, without even realizing it, are using your 28 thinking skills. When the thinking skills you need to use are strong, doing the task happens easily. If the thinking skills you need to use is weak, doing the task will be a challenge. The struggle that Vicky had came from a weak thinking skill of orientation in space. If you are familiar with the 28 thinking skills, you're probably surprised I didn't say Vicky struggled with the thinking skill of considering another person's perspective, because that's a thinking skill in itself. Although she struggled with considering other people's perspective, the foundational skill of seeing another person's perspective is actually orientation in space. You see, we can improve any one of the 28 thinking skills at any time. However, many of the thinking skills build upon each other. And if the thinking skill you're trying to work on has another thinking skill getting in the way, you want to start with working with a thinking skill that's getting in the way first. This way, when you go to the thinking skill that you really want to improve, it happens smoothly and quickly. Fun fact, often that thinking skill that is getting in the way is actually the real problem, and it is no longer an issue with the thinking skill that you thought was the problem. In Vicky's case, the thinking skill most people thought she needed to work on was seeing another person's perspective. But actually what was causing the challenge was her weak thinking skill of orientation in space. Orientation in space is a broad thinking skills that covers many aspects, including knowing rights and lefts, directions, how a space an item takes up, and more. I know you're curious on how these are connected, so let me explain. Do you know your right hand and left hand? Yes, good. Now what happens if I am sitting across the table from you? Do you know which is my right hand and which is my left? Mentally, you'll have to sit in my position to be able to answer the question, or else you'll end up saying that my left hand is the right. Did you see what I just did there? You went into my shoes to give the answer. You need to understand where they're standing and where they're coming from to understand why they came to that conclusion. One of my absolute favorite ways to improve this area of orientation in space, specifically of understanding other people's rights and lefts, is to play the game right turn, left turn. In the game, you need to figure out where you'll end up based on the directions of the police officers, and each are standing in different positions. You constantly need to stand in someone else's shoes, this case, it's the police officer's shoes, and be able to figure out which direction to take. I love the game because it's fast-paced, gets you thinking, and doesn't take long. Plus, it's a great game to play with young children, while adults have a challenge with it too. When you're searching for it online, Google right turn, left turn game, so that way it comes up. Another version of this game is to simply go to a park or a busy lot, and every person you see mentally say which is their right hand and their left hand. Remember, people will be standing in different directions, and you'll need to go into their shoes to see which side is their right and their left. Now, if you're feeling really comfortable with this and you want to take it to another level, then stand in one place and give directions to any destination. Say the directions out loud. Then give the directions to the same definition, but mentally stand in a different starting point. This is going to require you to think of a different position and a different location and where that person might be coming from in order to give accurate directions. It's not easy to admit that we've got a challenge in seeing another person's perspective. So kudos to you for recognizing that this is an area you need to improve in. There's a big possibility the reason why you're having a hard time with this is simply because your thinking skill of orientation in space needs some improvement. You're not crazy, you're not broken, you simply got a weak thinking skill that can be improved. Your challenge this week is to order the game, right turn, left turn, and play it. Or at least 2 times, go to a busy area and notice every person that's around you, which is their right hand, which is their left hand. This takes practice, but you will get there. All of a sudden, you'll start being able to see like, hey, I understand where the other person is coming from.
That's all for this episode of the Business Brain Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with 2 of your business friends so they too can gain from it, and you'll be helping us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. Cheers to peak brain performance.